Let us resume the investigation. And figuring out all the secrets and everything. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to find everything in the whole game, but I will try to do my best. Oh yeah, we should talk to people. Florette.
Anything to show you I didn't do it. And madame, I need this job, monsieur.
Was it you who collected the parcel this morning while in town?
Yes. Another thing on my to-do list. I'm afraid it's not in the same condition as when I picked it up.
At whose request?
It was a favor for Lizzie. I didn't mind having to get it.
Merci. I shall take everything you have told me into consideration.
No, it is talking to Elizabeth, I think. Cassandra doesn't have anything to say. Elizabeth does, though.
Certainly, officer.
Can you tell me about the package in the lounge? You don't by any chance happen to be missing an initialed handkerchief. Does Madame van den Bosch have a habit of making such quick assumptions? Can you tell me about the package?
The lounge? A package?
Oui, it is quite hard to miss.
Oh, how silly of me. I must have had my head in the clouds this morning. I'm sorry, I can't help you further.
Besides the obvious, was there anything else unusual about this morning?
Besides the terrible rain? No. I woke, began my duties with Mademoiselle. I had already laid out a clean dress. I helped her into it, and prepared her for the day before getting started on tidying her room as neat as a pin.
And the bracelet was still there when you left the room for breakfast?
I'm sure of it. I had it down before Mademoiselle Angeline.
You don't by any chance happen to be missing an initialed handkerchief?
Why, yes, officer! I misplaced it after wiping a stain from Mademoiselle Angelieve's sleeve at breakfast. You are a great detective.
You are not the first to say. Had she not noticed it herself, I imagine Madame would not allow even the smallest imperfection.
It baffles me how she couldn't have. It was only luck that I spotted it before Madame, and a good thing I did.
Does Madame van den Bosch have a habit of making such quick assumptions?
Madame is under a great deal of strain. It can't have been easy for her to lose her husband, raising Mademoiselle alone. She can be quick to anger.
Oh right, when they say Mademoiselle, they mean Angeline, of course.
And this morning, it sounds as though it was such an occasion.
It's not the first time I have had to stand and watch such treatment. I hate to see it. As I said, Madame hasn't had the easiest time.
You said it was not the first time Madame van den Bosch has lost her temper with Florette?
Madame's scolding of Florette this morning was the worst I have seen her temper. I wish you could see that Florette is just trying to do her best.
Could there have been another reason for such a reaction?
Madame was not happy Florette was late. All through breakfast, Madame was watching her with a piercing eye. But she's still learning the way.
Merci.
I mean, you asked her
Your
to do
assistance has been
additional
invaluable.
duties. Ma'am. New mind map unlocked. Mademoiselle Elizabeth was reluctant to acknowledge the parcel that caused young Florette to be so late. Could there be something behind her avoidance of the subject? If there is a reason, I must establish what it is. Uncover Elizabeth's secret. Gold band. Bench carving. Formal suit. Note from Luke. Garden would be more beautiful if treated with respect.
Come, my little grey cells.
Come on.
Is there something? I cannot see the logic in this.
Okay, fine. Note from Luke and bench carving.
What a revelation!
The carving acts as a subtle and private reminder for them both. Is it that private? Is it that private and subtle? Because it's like right smack in the middle of that bench. Elizabeth and Luke are courting. The carving acts as a subtle and private reminder. No, it's really not that subtle.
Things are beginning to become...
Perhaps their relationship is more serious than I first deduced. I wonder what Madame would say. Probably nothing nice. Elizabeth and Luke are betrothed.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment.
I find the thought of such a plan cloaked in secrecy rather romantic, but their secrecy continues to perturb me. Mademoiselle Elizabeth was planning to elope with her beloved Luc, but why would she hide such a joyous occasion? I recall her saying Madame van den Bosch does not look fondly on staff relationships, but I cannot help but think there is something else. Talk to Elizabeth.
Certainly, officer.
You seemed rather excited earlier at the mention of Romeo and Juliet.
How could I not be? I may not enjoy his other works, but how can one not be blown away by a story of two so deeply in love that they will risk everything just to be together?
For a lot of reasons. No.
Especially being able to draw similarities between Verona's star-crossed lovers to yourself and your dearest.
But I hadn't told.
Mademoiselle, I am an officer of the law. It is my duty to uncover the truth.
Please, you cannot say anything to Madame. She is against staff relationships of any kind. In her eyes, a relationship between staff is nothing more than a distraction.
But he means so much more to you.
Oh, officer. I have found my soulmate. At first, it was nothing more than pleasantries around the grounds. But that quickly changed. I know it's not proper for a young lady to pursue a gentleman. But once I knew his feelings reciprocated my own, why shouldn't I have followed my heart?
Go get him.
Love transcends professional and societal rules.
Absolutely. But definitely try to, behave so that other people don't get hurt and stuff about it. But yes, absolutely.
The mere thought of him was enough to make me blush. But I knew that Madame would never give her blessing. If we wanted to continue, we would have to do so in secret. The summer evenings here are just so beautiful. I often find myself walking around the grounds after my daily duties are complete. And it was one such evening that Luc was waiting for me at the gazebo. He looked ever so handsome. And the poem he had prepared. He had barely started reading and I was already a blubbering mess. Standing there beneath the warm glow of the falling sun, he asked for my hand. And I gave him my heart with no hesitation. Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I've been chattering on for so long. You have much more pressing matters than to listen to me rambling aimlessly.
One should never apologize for such a charming and bewitching story of love. But you are correct. While the culprit still eludes us, my work is not yet complete.
Oh my god, the bracelet is in the fireplace. Come on. Oh, another achievement. Uncover a secret or memory from Elizabeth. The love Mademoiselle Elizabeth and Luc share is obvious, and yet she remains respectful of Madame's ruling, no matter how the ridiculous nature of it. Cannot see her defying her code and stealing the bracelet. The investigation continues.
Merci, mademoiselle. Your assistance has been invaluable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there. According to Elizabeth, she arrived slightly earlier than Angeline for breakfast. It seems Angeline attempted to remove a soot stain from her hands. What could have caused it? Oh, she was digging her bracelet straight into the fireplace. Come on. Oh, there's something more new here? No? Oh, but we can make a connection.
Another success.
She must have used a cleaning rag to reach into the chimney, keeping her hands soot-free. Angeline reached into the chimney. Inspect the chimney in Angeline's bedroom to advance the investigation. Yes. What is new in here? Ah, Cassandra previously mistreated Fleurette. Cassandra watched Fleurette after she returned. Fleurette confirmed collection. It's the reason she was late. Elizabeth denied knowledge of parcel. Interesting. There is one connection we can make here. Something like this.
I must take a different approach if I...
Yes. Hmm.
I must act on top. Magnifique.
As she was constantly busy and under the watchful eye of Madame, Fleurette lacked an opportunity to take the bracelet. Why would Madame accuse her? Fleurette had no opportunity. Because she knows who did it. They're trying to get money because their financial situation is not very good. Also, Angeline said that, like, money was no object for father. I wonder if, like, it was. He just, like... He essentially put the family in, like, large debt. But they didn't know until he died. He almost, like, pretended that they had more money than they did. Or he lived way beyond the means. And that's why the Madame is also, like, angry with him after death. Because she's like, why did you... Now we have to, like, deal with this and basically sell the whole house. And, like, why would you just, like, put us in this situation? Which I can understand. Where it's like, oh, now we have to deal with this after you're dead. Like, now is the time to confirm my suspicions.
What are you doing there? I wouldn't get too close. Soot is forever spitting onto the floor.
Merci for the warning, mademoiselle.
I must find a way to distract Mademoiselle Angeline if I am to confirm my theory.
The longer you are here, the...
Would you say that your maman is happy with young Fleurette's work?
Maman is never happy with anything these days. Also, Fleurette does have a habit of not doing things exactly how Maman wants them done.
And how does she react when she sees Fleurette not doing things the correct way?
Maman has a temperament of a kicked cat. Fleurette has often been on the wrong side of it.
That is how she responded today?
She was shouting at her, and when Fleurette would not admit she took the bracelet, Maman really lost her temper. I have not seen her that angry before.
You have been of great help.
Okay. Cassandra becomes aggressive with Fleurette.
I should not be surprised.
All signs are pointing to Fleurette being treated rather harshly by Madame. Would Madame escalate such mistreatment? Fleurette is mistreated by Madame. Well, yeah, clearly. How do we distract her? Oh wait, actually, let me go back in here. What are we doing? Inspect the chimney. Indeed, that is what we're trying to do. Okay, let me look at this. Confirms burglary, her father. Okay. Cassandra holds the master key. Widowed. Elizabeth. Mourning, reported theft. They plan to elope. Fleurette Duval. Coming from a poor working class background, it is obvious that young Fleurette works hard to be able to provide for her mother and young brothers at home. Oh. What she lacks in education, I believe she more than makes up for in street smarts and enthusiasm to impress. Oh dear. How do we know this much about her backstory suddenly? But yes, okay. How do we... How do we...
The longer you are here...
You have been...
What are you doing there?
Merci for...
I guess we go outside to distract her from somewhere else. Go downstairs. I don't know how to distract her. Oh, telephone. It does not seem to be working. Why would a house of this size be without a working telephone? Oh, we know that. We know. We know why. Where is it? Where's the non-working telephone? There, telephone. Final demand.
What a revelation.
I am not surprised the telephone does not work. One cannot just ignore financial responsibilities. Financial responsibilities ignored.
Is there something?
No. Selling heirlooms.
I should not be surprised.
The family must be in a far worse position than I thought. I wonder if such desperation led to drastic actions. Cassandra desperate for money.
The pieces of the puzzle.
It cannot be a coincidence that what is not being sold has been recently insured. There's more to Madame van den Busch's accusation of Florette than it seems. A young maid would make for the perfect scapegoat, and with such coincidental timing ensuring the bracelet, there are still questions to be asked. Theft fits Cassandra's insurance scam. And talk to Cassandra. Here we go.
Really, officer?
Push on information regarding finances. Questions with the red icon indicate that a dialogue challenge is available for this character. Choose the question marked to begin.
If you have something to ask, officer, I suggest you stop wasting my time further and just get on with it.
From here, pay attention to the questions marked with a hammer, I guess, as you make your choices. Depending on how you approach Cassandra, you may or may not be able to extract new evidence from her. I've already seen and heard how hot-tempered Madame van den Busch can be. I should approach this with some sensitivity. My understanding or direct? Understanding. My apologies, madam. I was merely thinking about what Florette has done for your family. Direct. Pardon, I'm just considering all avenues. There's much for me to contemplate. I don't know if understanding is gonna get you anywhere. But I guess we'll try that.
And this is how she repays me? I will not be happy until I see her sufficiently punished.
Complimentary. I'm just grateful for your vigilance, but it's time for the proper authorities to decide her fate. Empathetic. I can understand your anger. Her actions broke your trust and have affected you all. Authoritative. Her punishment should be decided according to the law, not by the lady of the house. Okay, this is not going to go over well. I can understand your anger. I don't know if that's going to go over well with her. But I guess I don't think she wants to hear about the proper authorities, though, so empathetic here then.
I am glad you have finally come to your senses and have seen her guilt.
Forward, I could not help noticing the art being sent to the auctioneers and the unpaid bills. Inquisitive, since the death of your husband, have you struggled to keep the house in the position it was? Sympathetic, it must be difficult raising Mademoiselle Angeline and running the house alone. I think sympathetic. If we start asking too many questions, she's definitely gonna get angry.
It is challenging at times, I will admit. But I can assure you, the Van den Bosch name is as strong and prevalent as it has always been. I have tried my best to provide for Angeline, although sometimes she may not see it that way. She is not to know about what we have discussed. It is my burden to carry.
You are accepting the hand you have been dealt and raising a fine young mademoiselle. That is all that can be asked of you.
And you have done nothing but bother my staff and my family. I cannot stand here any longer and listen to this second-rate officer speaking such drivel.
Madame van den Bosch offers me the smallest slither of emotion, showing how she cares for her daughter, before she makes haste for the door. Is it out of embarrassment, or perhaps there is something she is still trying to hide? Maybe I didn't do that optimally. I wonder if Mademoiselle Angeline noticed Madame's abrupt departure. Oh, congratulations, you broke down Cassandra's defenses and obtained some new evidence. Okay, so I did do it right. In this case, it seems like you really hit a nerve with Cassandra. Okay, no, I did do it right. Well, I guess it just fits her scheme there.
Come, my little grey cells. Order and method.
What can I do here then?
This will not get me any closer.
Oh, these two. Okay.
Another success.
Little
I
grey
never
cells
doubted
make 25
myself.
deductions. Would Madame seize the opportunity in an attempt to improve and continue to hide her financial woes? Poirot was scapegoated.
Some would say a lucky guess.
Here, her incarceration appears to be the latest in a series of abuses by Madame. I have no doubt that young Fleuret's innocence. What I do doubt is the behavior of Madame van den Bosch. If what I have heard is true, her treatment towards Fleurette is disgraceful. Oh, absolutely. Fleurette is innocent. Her incarceration appears to be the latest in a series of abuses. Talk to Fleurette. Let's talk to Fleurette first, since we are down here. Walk into the lounge.
Anything to...
This is not the first time Madame van den Bosch has taken her anger out on you, is it?
She never used to be such a witch. When the Viscount was alive, she was much nicer. He was the head of the house, he gave the orders, and he treated us right. I would have gone long ago, monsieur. But my family can't afford for me to be picky about my employment.
I was not aware you were supporting your family. And at such a young age.
I love how the game like spoiled this and gave us like info that we didn't even know already before, but cool.
Papa lost his job at the factory just before he left for good. So Mama had to work even more. I was old enough, so I went to work.
God.
When I joined the Van den Bosch house, the Viscount was very kind. I didn't think he would care, but he wanted to help. He gave me some extra in my first pay pack, enough to keep the landlord from kicking Mama out at least. No one had ever been that nice before. I didn't know what to say, but all he wanted me to do was work hard for her. He even let me to go home and visit Mama and my brothers at Christmas, with a food parcel from the kitchen. Mama said she had never seen so much food. It's always been hard for her. Even before he left for good, Papa wasn't around much, and even when he was, we both wished he wasn't. My brothers were too young to remember what he was like, I hope.
Oh, disgusting.
When I walked in Mama's house, everything seemed so much smaller. I must have got too used to the size of this house. I swear, you could fit our house in just this lounge. We didn't have much, but we didn't want for much. It was simple and it was home.
Mm-hmm.
The valuables in the house do not determine the love it shares.
Absolutely right.
Someone should tell Madame that. Not that she'd listen anyways.
I will uncover the truth of what happened today, mademoiselle. That, I promise you.
The Viscount's kind nature shines through again. His treatment of the staff is quite a contrast from that of the Madame's. From the way... Oh! Uncovered a secret or memory from Fleurette. Because the achievement pops up here. From the way this young mademoiselle speaks of her family, I cannot believe she would risk her employment at the house and put them into an even worse position. Indeed.
Merci. I shall take every...
Yes. Okay. We will go talk to Angeline and be like, yo, your mom went outside. You gonna do something about that? Your maman is missing, or left. Wonder if Mademoiselle Angeline noticed Madame's abrupt departure. Oh, she's turned around.
The longer you're here,
Oh, okay.
You have been of great...
She did. Basically, she's just turned around and we're gonna be like, yo, fireplace. I suppose this is one such occasion when I must literally get my hands dirty. Oh yeah, Hercule Poirot does not like dirt. Nope, 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 nope. There is the bracelet. It was carefully concealed inside a rectangular metal tin. No, really? Bracelet. Angeline's missing bracelet, as I suspected, inside the tin of keepsakes from her father. It was missing after all. Well hidden is a more appropriate term.
I cannot see the logic in this.
Stashed her keepsakes in the chimney. Okay.
Is there something I... Come, my little Grace Alice.
Come on. Oh. Someone forced the window open from inside. Angeline stashed her keepsakes in the chimney.
Things are beginning to be...
To stage a burglary and let it go so far is totally unacceptable. I cannot believe I allowed Mademoiselle Angeline to deceive me for so long. Hiding the bracelet inside the chimney and staging a burglary, all part of her calculated and devious plan. I should bring this investigation to an end. Enough of my time has already been wasted, but I will not be satisfied until I know why. What financial troubles? Mon frère? Hello? 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 Should we talk to her? No. And what do we do now? Do I need to put something more together? But all of these are like done, it seems. Yeah, I don't have anything more to like put together. Okay, I guess I go outside and see what Madame is doing outside or something. To the garden. Oh, we can talk to Elizabeth. Okay.
Certainly, officer.
I'm ready to address the house. I believe it is time the truth behind the missing bracelet was revealed.
You have found the culprit and the bracelet.
Everything will be revealed in good time. Would you be so kind as to gather everyone in the lounge?
Of course.
The big reveal!
Merci, Mademoiselle Elizabeth, for gathering everyone. Will Madame Van den Bosch be joining us shortly?
She stormed past me not long ago, and I've not seen her return.
Very well. Under usual circumstances, I would wait. But I think we have spent enough time on this matter, n'est-ce pas? We shall have to proceed without her. This morning started like any other. My usual ordinary patrol. Until I was approached by Mademoiselle Elizabeth about a suspected burglary and a missing bracelet.
A crime I've been falsely blamed for.
That I shall come to. I began my investigation outside, but it was not long before I realized there were no signs of an intruder. So I turned my focus to those in the house. You. Florette, your time here at the house has not always been the easiest for you, shall we say.
I do what Madame tells me.
And to the highest standard, I presume.
Madame's standards are very high. I do my best.
And you would at least expect fair treatment for the work, not to be spoken to in such a cruel and vicious way.
Monsieur?
I refer to how poorly Madame van den Bosch treats you. You are at her beck and call, and she does nothing but belittle you.
That is Maman you're talking about. Just wait until...
It is nothing but the truth I speak, mademoiselle. All the while, mademoiselle stands by and does not even notice such cruelty. That must have angered you. Perhaps you thought it was time they deserved some retribution.
Stop trying to put words in her mouth.
I am merely giving her a voice, one that has been silenced for so long.
Maybe I do think she deserves it. She's had the world handed to her on a plate, and the likes of me get nothing.
A motive begins to rear its head.
You're just trying to get me to admit to something. Well, I've done nothing.
Allow me to finish. I am sure you will want to hear what follows. Let us return to this morning.
You were tasked with fetching breakfast from the town for the house. As well as fetching breakfast for the house, you took another task on, which ended up delaying you further.
I was only trying to help Lizzie.
You must have known how Madame would have reacted to your late return, especially with her prior treatment of you.
She's angry at whatever I do.
But nonetheless, you were willing to help a colleague, a friend, knowing what the repercussions could be. And that show of loyalty to your friend has been the thing that proved your innocence.
Monsieur?
Because of such willingness to help, you were delayed in town, meaning you had no viable way of taking the bracelet from Mademoiselle Angeline's room. There was simply no opportunity.
I told you! Maybe now Madame will believe me.
It is evidence not even she can ignore. Which then leads us to Mademoiselle Elisabeth. Mademoiselle Elisabeth, you have been with the Van den Bosch family for quite some time now, correct?
That is correct.
You have grown close with both ladies of the house and your fellow members of the house staff, would you say?
Of course. And I certainly hope they feel the same.
And yet there are still secrets that are kept from them, but there are still certain private matters they are not aware of.
Officer, please.
Elizabeth, what is he talking about?
I am referring to the lengths Mademoiselle Elisabeth has gone to remain in your maman's employment.
It is Madame's house. She can enforce whatever rules she chooses.
Even if they are going against the very nature and cornerstone of man, to love.
I still do not understand.
Perhaps that is best for everyone. It is neither my place nor my want to make this situation any more awkward than it needs to be.
Then why did you start talking about it, bro?
Oh, thank you.
Besides, it was not that story that cleared Mademoiselle Elisabeth's name. Rather...
Florette's. But she was not here for most of the morning.
But when she was, more precisely while preparing the table in the lounge, she noted that, against regularity, you arrived alone for breakfast, without Mademoiselle Angeline by your side.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
It means that I found myself with two suspects with potential motives. But with a lack of opportunity, I was left with only one. Mademoiselle Angeline.
You can't believe I would hide my own bracelet.
It is the only explanation that remains, but perhaps Florette would be more satisfied hearing the truth from you. I think it's time the truth be told. This masquerade has gone on long enough.
I have nothing to say.
You would rather allow a faithful member of your staff to take the blame for your juvenile and adolescent actions. You acted out of fear. It is nothing we have not all done before. I'm surprised at your lack of compassion. I see the apple does not fall far from the tree.
How dare you speak to me like that? You have no idea what you are talking about.
I know that losing a father at such a young age must be horrific and terrifying. Perhaps I don't, but your mama does. She is someone you could confide in. Losing your father.
You can't actually believe I would hide my own jewelry.
If you didn't, explain to me how your memento tin with the bracelet inside came to be lodged inside the chimney of your bedroom fireplace.
You have no proof I put it there.
Besides you being the only one in the room alone, even after finding the bracelet, I still did not know why you had done it. Until I contemplated why Madame was selling so many heirlooms and art.
You had no right to snoop through our house in the first place.
When it is part of my investigation, I have every right, mademoiselle. The unpaid bills and final notice from the telephone company.
Maman can do what she wants with her art. That means nothing.
But when there was no more art to sell, what then? You could not risk her taking your father's bracelet and selling it. So, you staged a burglary pretending it had been taken, preventing her from selling it. Then you stood back as the innocent Florette paid the price.
She didn't think about me at all. She was going to take my bracelet and sell it off. It would have just ended up on some old wrinkly wrist. I didn't think Maman would blame her. I didn't think she would do anything.
But she did. And somehow that evidently didn't cross your mind. When Madame returns, you shall have it all to explain.
Maman can't know what I have done. She will be furious.
But Mademoiselle Florette will be proved innocent. And that is what is important. No crime has been committed, so I see no reason why this should continue any longer. It is time you considered the consequences of your actions. And now, you must face them head on.
Indeed.
Maman, you're home.
Of course I am. And I brought someone that will bring some order to this chaos.
Major Felix Hagen. He may hold the rank of major in the British Army, but I question his authority here at all. In police matters, I am the authority. This is my investigation, and I will not let the Madame dictating the results any longer.
Major, I can assure you I have this situation under control.
From what I have heard, you are far from it.
The missing bracelet has been found, and the guilty party has been identified.
I am well aware that the maidservant was behind it all. And yet I see her standing as free and innocent as you and me.
I am sure Madame van den Bosch has informed you of her suspicions, but I'm afraid it was merely speculation.
Excuse me?
After conducting a full investigation, the evidence and facts led me to deduce...
Mademoiselle Florette could not have taken it as she was in town most of this morning, including the time the bracelet was taken. Mademoiselle Angeline had the bracelet, she had her reasons, and...
I certainly hope you are not accusing my daughter of...
I'm sorry, Maman. He's right. Florette is innocent. I just wanted to show you.
Shh, girl. I will not have you guilted into taking the blame for that sticky-fingered girl.
Madame van den Bosch refuses to acknowledge even a fraction of what has really taken place. I shall not let this continue any longer. Madame van den Bosch, perhaps it would benefit you to hear Mademoiselle Angeline's. Any guilt your daughter feels should be only from her actions today.
Officer Poirot. Well, Madame van den Bosch was forced to make her way to inform me, alone, I might add, of the goings-on at the house today.
Major, with all due respect, she was impeding the investigation.
This may be how some officers act in the city, but here we show respect to our citizens. You are an officer of the law and should act as such.
As he does, because Florette is also a citizen and deserves as much respect. What you're saying is really, rich people should always be on the right, and the law they can just buy the law. Who cares about truth or actual justice? Rich people just decide the law, is clearly what you mean.
Insubordination like this will not be tolerated.
Okay, but you're from the British Army. What? Okay.
As the ranking officer, I have conducted my investigation and...
Ranking officer? Ha! You are an auxiliary officer. You have little authority over anyone, let alone a major. You would be wise to remember who is close friends with your commanding officer.
Oh my god. Ah yes, law and order, blah 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 blah.
After what I have heard of your past in the city, I'm sure he would look upon today's events as another failure at the hands of Officer Poirot.
As absurd as this has become, I must select my battles more tactfully. I can only hope the captain at the station will see things with some sense.
Oui, Major.
Now I suggest you do your duty and escort the maidservant to the station where she can be formally charged and a sufficient punishment handed out.
Right away.
Oh my god. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
I am sorry, mademoiselle. This is not the outcome I expected.
Maman was right. We'll always pay the price for the upper class's actions.
Sadly, yes. With money, you live in a different world and you can manipulate anything and everything.
We will do everything we can to clear your name.
What can you do now? Madame said I'm guilty of a crime and I'll be punished. That's that.
A crime that was never committed. Once the truth is explained, this wrong shall be set right.
Angeline did not intend for you to be arrested. Surely you know her better than that.
I should have known better than to expect anything else. Justice and fairness don't reach the likes of me.
Sadly, she's right. This young lady has already faced so much mistreatment at the hands of Madame van den Bosch. I shall not allow her punishment to continue.
What you saw today was not justice. In the eyes of the law, you are innocent and have been harshly treated and wrongly accused. No one will be going to jail.
But that doesn't help my employment, does it?
That I cannot save. But your freedom, I shall make sure of that.
I feel like an imposter dressed in police clothing. I was brought here today as a representative of the law, and any shred of authority I had was dashed at the hands of the major. I refuse to allow justice to waver and for it to become nothing more than a hand for those that wish to play it, as and when they choose. This is not the first time... Oh, I completed the prologue. Okay. This is not the first time I've seen the law bent to fit one's purpose, but it will certainly be the last time I fail to stop it. Okay. What happens now? Loading chapter 1. Oh no.